results. I think that's about right. So only 3% of you out there would get a stern lecture and a rant from Tony Vitello with your zero sum, a loss is an F. Got to make the finals, 25%, and 3/4 of you basically saying, yes, it's a great season already, and that's where I would have cast my vote as well. I'm guessing everyone here would cast it that way.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be nice, obviously, to win the whole darn thing or to at least make the finals. That would be a new step, but it's been an insane year. So.
I think you're playing with house money after you start 2-0.
Yeah, avoiding the 0-2 in Omaha gets some people off your
Right.
Yeah. All right. The Athletic this week talked about some of the biggest SEC games of the year, and they put Tennessee's trip to Oklahoma in that category. But check this out. Take a look at this graphic. What they said was, the Sooners' welcome to the SEC game comes against the Vols, and the loser of this one will start to worry about its status in the conference. And then the next part of that is, which team has more on the line? Tennessee. If the Vols lose, questions will come up about how far behind they may have fallen in the SEC. Oklahoma's still in the conference newcomer, and they have more prove-it games down the line in a loaded SEC schedule. Okay. Agree? Disagree?
Disagree. I think it was written by an Oklahoma graduate. I don't think David Ubben wrote that, did he? I mean, can you imagine? It means more to Tennessee than it does to Oklahoma. You lose an SEC home game?
Your first SEC game ever against your former quarterback.
Exactly, against Josh Heupel. I mean, I wouldn't even let that go to print.
I'll go ahead and agree with it. I would let it go to print, and I will endorse it. And here's the reason. Tennessee's got more on the line going into this game than Oklahoma does. Some people,
they're both preseason top 15.
Do not think that Oklahoma is a very good football team, and Tennessee should go in there and win. And I think a lot of people, you see them preseason, a lot of people have them dancing right around the level of the getting into the Final Four, getting into the postseason.
12.
Okay, if you lose this game, I think that does knock you back a little bit. I think it does hurt you. And I think then Oklahoma goes, when we're ranking the SEC, Oklahoma goes up here. So I think Tennessee does have a lot on the line.
I agree with
game.
Bob, because it could be the difference in you being in the playoff conversation, not being in the playoff conversation. For Oklahoma, you win that game, you probably go 8-4. You lose that game, you're going 7-5. I mean, like
the preseason rankings have them both just right
the
together.
Vegas says 7-5, 9.5. Like that's because voters don't know what they're doing, and so or aren't looking at the roster as a whole. They're looking at skill position players only. But they have literally 2 offensive linemen that have started a college football game. That's rough, right? So, and they have a really tough schedule down the stretch. I think for Tennessee, it could be the difference in 10-2 or even 11-1. And Tennessee being 9-3 this year if they lose that game.
Yeah, I agree with the answer of Tennessee. I disagree with what they said about both teams. Like, I don't think this is a big landscape or you're going to lose your spot or any of this kind of questioning Tennessee's future.
Yes, that's my take.
I think it's way too dramatic. It's what Will said. It's the Oklahoma game is the difference between college football playoff or not, potentially, if the rest of the schedule goes chalk. Plus, Oklahoma has the most difficult schedule. John, you had the graphic with the opponent win totals. So they're going to have challenge after challenge after challenge. They're going to get a pass for the first game entering into the SEC. So I do think Tennessee has more on the line, but I just don't agree with the reason.
And see, Tennessee's going into that game. We've seen the early line is a 5.5-point dog, right? You're the underdog.
That big? Wow.
Yes. I mean, that's what I saw, right?
5.5 is where it opens.
So, I mean, to me, you're doing – I just see how if you're going into that game – I don't think you can say that it means more. It means a lot to both teams.
It means a lot. I agree with that. It means a lot to both teams. But I think if you go into that game and lose, Oklahoma is not Lincoln Riley's Oklahoma. Everybody has them kind of down here. You go in there and lose, okay.
That's it.
So
no, they don't. We keep saying everybody has them down here. Will has them down here. They're actually.
Well, that's who I call when I need information.
I mean, all the rankings have Oklahoma and Tennessee right there together. So it just depends. All right, so if Tennessee's ranked number 1, do we then come back and say, voters don't know what they're doing? We can't pay attention to the rankings. Or do we just say that when we don't like what they say?
If Vegas has you at 7.5 and a poll has you at wins and the poll has you at 8th overall in the nation,
I get it.
Somebody's wrong there, and it's probably not the people in Vegas.
My issue with it was it made it sound like this is some sort of program-defining moment
exactly.
for either of these programs. I thought that was.
I think it's big for the season.
Big for the season, okay. I just don't agree with. they will start to worry about its status in the conference. Do you mean for this season or you mean going forward?
There is no referendum.
If the Vols lose, questions will come about how far they may have fallen.
They haven't fallen. How has Tennessee played on the road in
Talking
the
about
SEC?
fallen. Fallen, they were in the Orange Bowl 2 years ago.
I disagree with that part of it. It'll be
Yeah,
how
that's-
much has Tennessee just stayed where they are and are going to continue to be mediocre.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just see it
I
as,
guess.
if Oklahoma loses,
I
you
don't-
tell me that losing to Josh Heupel is
it
not
will
like
be
a.
It's a
It will
big
be
game.
a
I
big
just thought it was overplayed here.
Oh, I do too.
I
But
think
it's
Tennessee has a
copy.
better shot at the playoffs. I don't think they make the playoffs. So if anybody here sitting here going, oh, well, they'll make the play, I don't see it. Sorry.
Oklahoma-
I don't see it. So losing to Oklahoma to me isn't going to be the difference between making the playoffs and not. I think you're going to wind up with 4 losses this year.
Yeah. And if Oklahoma ends up being pretty good, they have more opportunity. Even if they lose that game in Tennessee, they have plenty of other games to where they can make an impression
Win a
in the
big
league.
one. Yeah, you
including
don't. You've got a
Texas.
crap
In
schedule.
Including
a
Texas.
couple of weeks after that.
Well,
That
that's
will
true.
be
That's-
the
that's
most
true.
important.
There you
So,
go.
yeah,
That's
you
the
go.
reason it's bigger for Tennessee.
It's the road underdog.
Hot garbage. All right. When we come back, the conference is looking to sell their names to the highest bidder. How do you like the All-State 12 Conference? Brilliant or horrible? Come on back.